If you don't speak their language, you're at a big disadvantage.
Know what they're saying among each other, because normally they when you approach the officers, right? They know, for instance, they know the officer is a white guy or a black guy or an Asian guy. They assume he don't speak or understand Spanish, so most of the time they always try to, if they're going to do something, they're always going to try to talk to each other in Spanish or in a language, a slang Spanish that only they will understand. So I would say that I would look for that, stuff like that, or their attitudes as well too. Because if they catch an attitude because they're trying to attract attention from the officers to that person, while the other guys, grab rocks or whatever, or throw their stuff high, whatever they need. So, but I would say, be warned and expect the unexpected.
What I suggest you do is separate those individuals. Don't let them communicate, either verbally or through signs, because they may be singing something that could put your life in grave danger.
Always be cautious when you approach them, because you never know who you're going to come up to, that he probably be a guy that, got no love for life, like I said, no respect for it. Let's say I'm getting arrested, right? And there's other gang members in the car, whatever, right? And they see, I'm getting pat down and everything. And I know definitely that, I'm going to jail. I see the guys, right? They know me, they know my face and everything, right? But, you kind of just get them for me, So the guys, they ain't going to do nothing, drive by, whatever, get out of the car. They kind of surprise the officer and, just beat him up, give him a chance, give me a chance to run off.
There was a veteran police officer in another jurisdiction who had gone into a 7-Eleven during his midnight shift. And he went inside, got a soda, got a candy bar, and paid for his items. And on his way out, he had a soda in one hand, a candy bar in the other. An individual came up to him and said, very politely, he says, "Can I ask you a question?" And the officer said, "Sure." And as soon as he said sure, the guy turned around and popped him in the face, punched him, knocked him to the ground, and then a struggle ensued, and apparently the suspect was trying to retrieve his weapon.
It always starts off from someone. Someone comes up and he's always like, "Hey, look, I heard that this cop, he actually giving us a hard time, and we gotta take him out, right?" So we discuss it in the meeting, and majority rules. So the majority raises the hand, then that car has a green light on.
They decided to put a green light on me.
Green light is, code for a kill. When we green light someone means we're going to kill him.
The green light was because I had done my job. I had been arresting many of these MS gang members who were abusing our community, and apparently they took that as a threat to themselves and a sign of disrespect. So in their world, that became a reason why they wanted to have me killed, and along with maybe another police officer. About 2 years ago, a young lady who was no longer with us, she was killed by MS13. She provided information to another jurisdiction that there was a green light on 1 or 2 police officers in the Northern Virginia region. One of those officers happened to be myself, and she provided to this detective a description of what I looked like, what kind of car I drove, what area I worked in. So they had done their homework in knowing what region or what area I patrolled. And she had never met me. I'd never met her, so it was kind of interesting to find out how she knew about me. This young lady provided information about myself, what I drove, where I worked, what areas I patrolled, what I looked like. And the only way to confirm that was simply to pay her a visit to see if I knew her. Because if she knew me, then obviously it'd be much easier to understand how she knew me. I'd never seen this girl before. She'd never seen me. I stood in front of her, and she didn't recognize me. When we told her who I was, she says, they don't like you. They're out to get you. And I said, well, I can certainly understand that. Now you need to tell us why. What are some of the reasons? And some of the reasons that were provided was simply, as she said, you've arrested some of their leaders. You didn't give them any respect. You know too much about what's going on. You've been disrupting their meetings. You've been disrupting their activities. And basically said you're locking up a lot of people. I had gone to Dallas, Texas, and testified in a MS13 trial in which two of the suspects got convicted and given life sentences. On the way back from Dallas, we received information that MS13 was sending a group of them down to Virginia to have myself and another officer killed. As luck would have it, on a traffic stop, I came across a vehicle with Texas tags with 3 suspects in it. We got them out of the car, and it turns out, after talking to the driver, who had a fake ID, it turns out that in an interview subsequent to our traffic stop, he admitted that he came to Virginia to shoot me.
The Salvatrucha gang poses a national threat. That's why the newly formed federal government agency called ICE, which stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, launched a program the federal level can help state and local law enforcement officers crack down on the MS-13 gang. Operation Community Shield, sponsored by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This operation initially started with an investigation of the MS-13, but now targets all gangs throughout the United States. They identify, deter, remove, and prosecute. They boost public awareness, they have outreach programs, and they educate communities. They've partnered with state and local and international law enforcement agencies. They're involved in intelligence gathering. They target criminal activities, gun smuggling, drug smuggling, and money laundering, and they also target those involved in violent acts. They span the United States, from Oregon to Iowa, from Iowa to Michigan, even in Florida. These photos were taken as they made arrests in Seattle, Washington. They've arrested thousands. They've arrested those with and without tattoos. The hunt continues. No matter where you are or who you are, ICE is looking for you. Operation Community Shield. You can reach them at www.ice.gov. And for more information on gangs, you can contact the National Alliance of Gang Investigators Association at www.nagia.org. And for more training information, you can contact the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center at www.flexi.gov or the Multi-Jurisdictional Counter-Drug Task Force Training at www.MCTFT.com. Although we've been talking about the MS-13, whether you call them domestic terrorists, international terrorists, or criminal street gangs, they're all violent and they're all dangerous. They have disrupted the very fiber of our lives. It's going to take state, local, and federal law enforcement agencies to band together with the community, religious institutions, and educators in this fight against violence and against street gangs. It's not just the MS-13s. It's the Bloods, it's the Crips, it's the people, it's the folks. We're going to have to band together to eliminate this violence against our society. Thank you very much. I'm Harold Roshan, and good evening.
There's another war at home, too. And that's to win the war against the scourge of drugs.
I never wanted to be a junkie when I grew up. I ended up going to jail. It takes everybody for them.
The multi-jurisdictional counter-drug task force training program at St. Petersburg College is answering the call for action in the war against drugs.
There's a lot of hunger for this training because this is about as realistic as you're going to get from day 1 all the way through day 10.
Just any time that you can actually get into a controlled environment and simulate some live action scenarios, you know, the more exercise you have, the better.
That's all part of it. We learn from our experiences and the mistakes that we make, and hopefully they'll make them here where it doesn't count, if you will, versus making them on the street where the consequences can be much more dramatic, such as injury or death.
The way the officer trains today is the way he's going to act in real life tomorrow, and as realistic of training that they can get is what's important to the officer.
We're going to walk the dog on the downwind side, have him check each hole.
We talked about short-term goals and long-term goals and challenges in the classroom environment.
The MCTFT program is a federally funded partnership through the Department of Defense between the Florida National Guard and St. Petersburg College.
The National Guard has 3 essential roles: our federal role, state mission, and community mission. Our community mission is very important to us in the National Guard because it connects the military to the communities that we serve across our nation. One of our very important community roles is support of the counter-drug training mission. For over 10 years, the program has met critical training shortfalls by providing essential counter-drug training to law enforcement officers and community leaders. The Florida National Guard's MCTFT program provides a unique opportunity for both law enforcement officers and drug demand reduction professionals to refine their skills and to effectively fight the war on drugs.
MCTFT conducts training nationwide for organizations such as state sheriff's associations, state narcotics officers associations, and the National Narcotic Enforcement Officers Association. MCTFT also provides training in high-intensity drug trafficking areas, or HIDTA area offices. These counter-drug training courses are primarily designed for law enforcement personnel, but courses are also designed for an expanded audience, including elected and appointed officials, business and banking personnel, and school and community representatives.
But getting down here and actually getting hands-on has opened the doors up even that much wider on what we've been looking at, because there's things that we've seen that we actually had no idea could have been as dangerous as what they were whenever we were dealing with it.
Battling the blazing trail of methamphetamine production and use across America, MCTFT is teaming up with the DEA to be the first in the state of Florida to offer this specialized methamphetamine hazmat certification, teaching law enforcement officers how to safely respond to a meth lab.
All of the large amounts of data.
The demand for counter-drug training courses like these has increased dramatically over the years, and MCTFT is meeting that demand. Created in 1993, MCTFT provides tuition-free training to millions of law enforcement officers throughout the nation and in the 4 U.S. territories. Several traditional classroom training courses are based here at the All-State Center campus of St. Petersburg College, home of the Southeastern Public Safety Institute and its state-of-the-art training facility, where hundreds of police academy cadets train year-round. But most of MCTFT's counter-drug training, about 95% of it, is delivered right to the doorstep of the agencies requesting it. From Albuquerque to Alaska, from Houston to Hawaii, MCTFT's tuition-free counter-drug training crosses state lines.
In Puerto Rico, they this year have had over 600 homicides, and law enforcement authorities estimate that at least 80 to 90% of those murders are drug-related homicides. We've trained 4,477 police officers that I believe otherwise would not have been trained. So to me, that's the important testimonial that we're doing something right that's benefiting the day-to-day safety of the police officers so they can go home at night.
Audience.
In 1 year alone, more than 20 million students viewed MCTFT distance learning broadcasts beamed nationwide via satellite to thousands of downlink sites across the nation. MCTFT Distance Learning Department is the proud recipient of numerous video production honors, including several of the prestigious Tele and Communicator Awards. CADCA, Community Anti-Drug Coalitions of America, is one of several broadcast partners that help MCTFT accomplish its mission to provide tuition-free counter-drug training to law enforcement agencies, community leaders, schools, and neighborhood anti-drug coalitions. FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, and MCTFT have been partners in training since 1998, co-producing a half dozen or more counter-drug training telecasts a year, dedicated to keeping law enforcement one step ahead of the bad guys. Because it's the smaller agencies that have the biggest demand for training.
Anytime that you can offer schools for law enforcement that's free is just, it goes without question. It's an awesome program. It's an excellent source of information, and it doesn't cost anything for the department.
What time is it? What time is it?
MCTFT and Dare America recently teamed up to produce this brand new series of training videos for Dare officers working in elementary schools nationwide.
That's one of the things that you have to look at when you go through the decision-making model.
How is encouraging drug use helping anyone? We knew she took some kind of drug.
And our newest partnership with Drug Free America Foundation is allowing MCTFT counter-drug training to reach more young adults and children than ever before. Our satellite television programs, coupled with traditional courses, conferences, seminars, and our online e-drug and CD-ROMs, make MCTFT by far the most far-reaching, tuition-free counter-drug training program available to law enforcement agencies and communities searching for effective strategies to fight the war on drugs.
Like anywhere else, everybody's budgets are getting cut. It's just one of those things. There's nothing we can do about it. If money's not there, money's not there. But you got to try to stay current. When I showed my boss the first certificate that I got, and excellent certificate, it comes back, says from St. Petersburg, Florida, and I showed it to him, and he kind of sat there and looked at it for a minute. And his first question out of his mouth was, when did you go to St. Petersburg, Florida? And the next question out of his mouth was, how much is this going to cost? And I told him, well, I didn't go to St. Petersburg. I did it all online, and it was all free. And he was extremely happy about that.
MCTFT's online counter-drug training courses are self-paced and available to students 24/7, anywhere, anytime. Students access the e-drug training courses by logging on to our webpage at mctft.com. Content for the online courses is derived from the traditional courses, providing an overview to curriculum and safety issues for law enforcement officers. Additional web-based training opportunities in development involve partnerships with Dare America and the Civil Air Patrol. All of this possible because millions of dollars in annual federal funding that flows from the Department of Defense through the Florida National Guard to St. Petersburg College.
First of all, St. Petersburg College is truly blessed to be in partnership with the Florida National Guard, with the federal government, several agencies, and partners there in dealing with one of the most difficult problems that face our society. And what's exciting is the fact that this college has a track record for being a doer, for getting the job done, for taking on the task and delivering. So I think that makes a winning combination, and it's what makes this program an outstanding program. The American public, every year, there's a poll given on what is their biggest concern. And unwavering in their answer is public safety. So if law enforcement and if the legislature come together to work, they solve the number one problem in the minds of people. It is an electable issue, and it is a doable issue, and it's one that I think gives them the reap of the harvest.
We share an important commitment. For the sake of our children and for the good of our nation, we will reduce drug use in America.
MCTFT, interactive, compelling, cutting edge, and award-winning. Counter-drug training that's making a difference.